Hi, Jack here. I work at Wilson Corp alongside my close-knit group of friends. We had eagerly awaited our planned vacation for months, yearning to escape the confines of city life. The 7 of us, 4 men and 3 women, embarked on a train journey bound for a serene countryside retreat. While my companions were all coupled off, I remained the sole single member of our group. Little did I anticipate the whirlwind of events that would soon unfold, transforming our vacation into a gripping tale of suspense and intrigue. As the train chugged along its tracks, we settled into our seats, excitement bubbling among us as we anticipated the adventures that lay ahead. However, our anticipation quickly turned to apprehension when whispers of a notorious criminal aboard the train reached our ears. The atmosphere grew tense as the gravity of the situation sank in. Someone dangerous lurked among us, their identity veiled in secrecy. Nervous glances were exchanged among our group as we grappled with the unsettling revelation. Who among the passengers could be concealing such a menacing secret? The mere thought sent a chill down my spine, overshadowing the scenic beauty passing by outside the train window. As the journey progressed, the tension aboard the train only seemed to mount. Each passing moment heightened our anxiety as we exchanged wary glances and whispered speculations. The once cheerful atmosphere of our group had been replaced by a palpable sense of unease, casting a shadow over what was supposed to be a relaxing vacation. Amidst the growing unease, my attention was drawn to the figure seated next to me. A woman, her features obscured by a cap and a mask, sat quietly, seemingly lost in her own thoughts. Despite her attempt to blend in with the other passengers, something about her demeanor set her apart, a subtle air of mystery that piqued my curiosity. As the train rumbled on, I couldn't shake the feeling of familiarity that washed over me. Had I seen her before? The thought lingered in the back of my mind, nagging at me with a persistent insistence. Lost in contemplation, I barely noticed when the train came to an unexpected halt, jolting me back to reality. Confusion rippled through the cabin as we exchanged puzzled glances, wondering what had caused the interruption to our journey. Little did I know, this unforeseen pause would mark the beginning of a series of events that would alter the course of our vacation in ways I could never have imagined. As the train came to a halt at a small station along our route, a sense of anticipation filled the air. Passengers peered out the windows, eager to stretch their legs and perhaps grab a snack from the station platform. However, our brief respite was interrupted by the unexpected arrival of law enforcement officers. A group of police officers boarded the train, their presence immediately drawing the attention of the passengers. Murmurs of curiosity rippled through the cabin as the officers began their routine check, inspecting the identification of each passenger. My heart raced as the officers approached our section of the train, their stern expressions betraying no hint of emotion. I watched nervously as they examined the identification of my fellow passengers, the tension in the air thickening with each passing moment. But as the officers reached the woman seated next to me, a sudden chill ran down my spine. There was something about the way they scrutinized her that set off alarm bells in my mind. Before I could process what was happening, the woman sprang into action, reaching into her bag and producing a gun. Panic erupted in the cabin as she pointed the gun directly at me, her actions sending shockwaves through the startled passengers. In the chaos that ensued, the woman seized me as her hostage, using me as a shield as she made her escape from the train. I watched in disbelief as she disappeared into the crowd, the sound of her footsteps fading into the distance. It was only then that I realized the gravity of the situation. We had just come face to face with a dangerous criminal, and now she was out there, free to wreak havoc once again, as the train pulled away from the station, leaving behind a flurry of commotion in its wake. I was left grappling with a whirlwind of emotions. The events of the past few minutes had shaken me to my core, leaving me reeling from the sudden turn of events. The memory of the gun pointed at me lingered in my mind, a stark reminder of the danger that had lurked among us all along. How had I been so oblivious to the threat seated next to me? It was a question that gnawed at me, filling me with a sense of unease that I couldn't shake. Amidst the chaos, my friends rallied around me, offering words of comfort and support as we tried to make sense of what had just transpired. But deep down, I knew that our ordeal was far from over. As the train rattled along the tracks, I couldn't help but feel a sense of vulnerability, as if the walls of safety that had once surrounded me had suddenly crumbled away. The realization that we had come face to face with a notorious criminal left me grappling with a newfound sense of fear and uncertainty. With each passing mile, our journey took on a new sense of urgency, our resolve hardened by the trials we had endured. Little did I know, the road ahead would test our bonds of friendship in ways we never could have imagined. As the train approached our destination, a sense of anticipation rippled through the cabin. Passengers gathered their belongings, preparing to disembark and continue their journeys. For our group, however, the arrival marked the beginning of a new chapter, one fraught with uncertainty and danger. As we gathered our things and made our way off the train, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease that gripped me. The memory of our encounter with the criminal lingered in the back of my mind, casting a shadow over what should have been a joyous occasion. Outside the train station, the air was thick with the hustle and bustle of travelers coming and going. But amidst the chaos, I couldn't help but feel a sense of foreboding, as if danger lurked just beyond the edges of our vision. With our group reunited, we made our way through the crowded streets, our senses on high alert for any sign of trouble. But despite our vigilance, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched, that the criminal who had eluded us on the train was still out there, biding their time and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. As we neared our hotel, I couldn't help but feel a sense of relief wash over me. We had made it this far, and now we could finally relax and enjoy our vacation. Or so I thought. Little did I know, the danger was far from over, and the true test of our courage was yet to come. The next morning dawned bright and clear, the events of the previous day fading into the recesses of my mind as I eagerly anticipated the day ahead. With a newfound sense of optimism, I made my way down to the hotel's dining area, ready to indulge in a hearty breakfast. As I perused the menu, contemplating my choices, a woman approached me, her presence drawing my attention. She too seemed to be selecting items for her plate, and before long, we struck up a conversation about the offerings available. Her friendly demeanor put me at ease, and before long, we were chatting like old friends. There was something about her voice that seemed oddly familiar, though I couldn't quite place where I had heard it before. As we sat down at a nearby table, she asked if she could join me, and I readily agreed. We continued our conversation, exchanging pleasantries and getting to know each other better. But as the conversation flowed, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something she wasn't telling me. In a moment of boldness, I decided to broach the subject that had been weighing on my mind since our encounter on the train. With a playful smile, I joked about whether she was the notorious criminal who had caused chaos on our journey. To my surprise, her reaction was telling. Her smile faltered, and her eyes betrayed a hint of unease. Sensing that there was more to her story than met the eye, I pressed her for the truth, my tone growing more serious. And to my astonishment, she admitted that she was indeed the woman I had encountered on the train, the same woman who had held me hostage at gunpoint. As the reality of her confession sunk in, I was left reeling, grappling with a whirlwind of emotions. How had I ended up sitting across from the very person who had caused me so much turmoil? And more importantly, what did she want from me now? As the revelation hung in the air between us, I felt a surge of conflicting emotions coursing through me. On one hand, I was filled with a sense of betrayal and anger at having been deceived by someone I had begun to trust. But on the other hand, there was a flicker of curiosity, a desire to understand the woman behind the mask. Before I could react, she reached out and gently placed a hand on mine, her touch surprisingly warm and comforting. "Please," she implored, her eyes searching mine for understanding. "Before you do anything rash, just hear me out. Let me explain who I am and why I did what I did." Reluctantly, I nodded, my curiosity getting the better of me. As she began to speak, her words held a weight of sincerity that I couldn't ignore. She revealed that she was, in fact, an undercover agent working for a top-secret government agency. A revelation that took me by surprise. With a solemn expression, she produced a service card from her pocket, offering it to me as proof of her identity. As I examined the card, I couldn't help but feel a sense of disbelief at the magnitude of what she was telling me. But as she continued to speak, her words rang true, and I found myself slowly beginning to believe her. She explained that her mission had led her to the train that fateful day, and that she had been forced to take drastic measures to maintain her cover. As she spoke, I couldn't help but feel a pang of sympathy for the woman before me. Despite the danger she faced and the sacrifices she had made, she remained resolute in her commitment to her mission. But amidst the chaos and deception, there was a glimmer of something more, a connection that had formed between us, however unlikely it may have seemed. And as she extended an olive branch, offering an apology for the turmoil she had caused, I felt a spark of something stirring within me. Could it be that beneath the facade of secrets and lies, there was a chance for something real to blossom between us? Only time would tell. With a newfound sense of resolve, I reached for my phone and exchanged numbers with her, sealing our newfound bond with a simple gesture. Little did I know, our connection would be put to the test in ways we never could have imagined.